Hey guys, it's Stella Jones, your sassy paranormal romance author. And hopefully you guys aren't getting too much feedback from this microphone yet. Um, Thanks for joining me. Tonight is a special night because I'm going to be talking about um, my giveaway that's going to be going on October 7th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here live on TikTok. And I am doing a giveaway because I'm really close to 2,000 followers. And so I wanted to just say thank you to everybody who has supported me. Like, I absolutely adore this platform and I just wanted to share. So I'm going to, hey Liv, thanks for joining. So I'm going to be, uh, I'm going to, once I get to that 2,000 mark, which hopefully I will by next Monday, then I'll be able to gift someone a PR box. And the criteria to win the raffle are to like, comment, and share off of my giveaway post and tag 2 people. So hopefully, and depending upon how many new followers I get, if I get like a tremendous number, then I'll do more than one PR box. But for now, it'll be a PR box with all 4 of my published work. So A Human Story, my first published work, The Secret of a Valentine's Desire, which is volume 1 of my origin stories, and then volume 2 of my origin stories, Summer Solstice. And then I have one more book, 4 stories, which is a collection of anything from very short stories to novellas. All of my stories are interrelated, but they can and do stand alone. There are, and thanks to everybody for joining, there are, I write about a species of beings that are genetically wolves, but they can and do exist as humans. And when you first meet these characters, the humans and the wolves are emerging from a very barbaric war that has decimated the majority of the wolves. And they start to restore themselves in society and restore their foothold on the world. And once they recover, then they start to explore passion, romance. There's still some of that war and conflict going on in the background. And so once I get to the 2,000 followers, then I'm going to gift a PR box. And I absolutely love this PR box. Next time I will show you guys a sample of it, but it fits all 4 of my published works. And then I put in some Stella treats like specialty bookmarks and postcards and all of these other good, nice little trinkets. So I'm looking forward to that. I do use this PR box like when I go and do book events. I just did a book event this last weekend, and I have that PR box so people can look inside and kind of get a taste of what it is. So I just wanted to come on and say that. And then I was going to do a reading. Last week I did, I think, 3 readings, and I really, really love these characters. So when I get to revisit them by doing readings, it just like really seals the deal for me that I am truly on the right path in my life in terms of pursuing passion and literature and etc. So I really appreciate everybody who's been tuning in and taking a listen. So last week I read from Summer Solstice, which is volume 2 of my origin series. This came out in July. And so volume 1 and volume 2 of my origin series, this is where I lay the foundation of my paranormal universe. So you figure out why they were at war and how they are reestablishing themselves in society after the majority of the wolves have been decimated. And so the main characters in volume 1 and volume 2 are Dessa, a human woman, and then Trace and Min, who are wolves. And Dessa has also survived this war. And the way that she celebrates her survival is by exploring and fulfilling one of her intimate fantasies of having a menage, and she's able to lure in 2 wolves to fulfill that fantasy. So that's what you're exploring in volume 1 and volume 2 of my origin stories. And then, of course, there's still like the paranormal universe going on in the background and all of this great stuff. So I am going to read today from The Secret of a Valentine's Desire. And the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that I am involved in every process, every part of the bookmaking process. So I hired a Etsy artist to do the silhouettes, but like the font, the layout inside and the back cover and everything. I'm involved in every aspect of the artwork, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to read from The Secret of a Valentine's Desire. And once again, this is volume 1 of my origin series. So the cover says, sometimes the sating of one's deepest needs demand not one, but two. The Secret of a Valentine's Desire, a novel or a novella by Stella Jones. So the first thing for all of my books, this is actually a modified music playlist. I absolutely adore music, and I'm always trying to find music to set the mood for the characters and the variety of emotions and types of encounters that occur throughout the book. And so my flow is Poetic Justice by Kendrick Lamar featuring Drake, How I Know by the RH Factor, that's a group by Roy Hargrove, and he's passed on. Seconds of Pleasure by Van Hunt, Feels Like Heaven by Kenny Vaughn and the Art of Love, Body Party by Sierra, and Banking on Me by Gunna. So, and I think that gives a good flow for the different type of characters that you're going to encounter, particularly with the wolves, because their personalities range anywhere from very violent to very funny and playful. All of them have the instinct of wolves, as you would anticipate, you know, just being very perceptive, relying on their instincts. But they also have a very playful energy. Not all of them, but usually the younger wolves. And the wolves live for a very duration of time. Thanks, everybody who's joining. The oldest wolf in existence is about 350 years old, and we don't know if there's any older than her, especially with this war and how everybody's been spread out. But the majority of wolves who are very playful are usually these modern, newer wolves, and they're called pups. Anything that's under 50 years of age is considered a pup. So I read the title and the flow music playlist. I'm going to read the preface. So who is Stella Jones? A child of God, a woman, a mom, a wife, a sister, a friend, a citizen, someone who didn't realize she buried her dreams until the chaos of her life drove them out of the earth beneath her. Not that my world was bleak. On the contrary, I accomplished many triumphant things in a relatively short period of time. But when you focus on goals rather than passion, eventually you hit a brick wall. Some may chip away at that bastion or hide behind it or from life by using drugs, sex, work, or avoidance to silence that long ago thought you never realized was a calling. So when I hit that wall hard enough to crush my spirit and nearly destroy my life, I did what I had done from a young age. I punished myself because of my perceived failure. And in that secluded penance, my deepest thoughts and creativity started to talk to me in the middle of the night. That voice was so loud that I could not focus on anything else until I started writing, trying to get peace. Where are these ideas coming from? What do they want from me? How can I get them to stop because they're preventing me from living? Ha! So finally, I just started typing, and I realized the more I transcribed each contemplation into text, even though I was horrified by how garbled and incoherent those first words were, I could finally sleep, breathe, and eat. Those thoughts kept coming, and I kept writing. So here we are, and whether no one gets it or enjoys it but me, I have gained such relief and joy in the process with these characters and this world that we're living in my head. No wonder I couldn't sleep. Thanks for listening and reading. Please stay tuned. There's so much more. Dream and enjoy. Stella Jones. So that was the preface. I'm going to read the introduction, notes for the reader. You are walking into chaos, so be forewarned. Keep steady and trust me to guide you through the winding maze of these stories. From the beginning, it will feel like I have knowingly thrust you into an already speeding locomotive. I have. These tales are an allegory of what it means to be paranormal, a social outcast, and an orphan of war for many of the characters. But at its core, my stories are about those searching for a connection that satisfies the soul and fulfills the basic instincts and desires of the living. Those hoping to explore relationships that expose our true nature and our willingness to exploit erotic pleasures. The Roman numerals at the beginning of each saga signify the order in which they were written. So far, there are more than 40 completed or under construction. The current story of Valentine's Desire is 6 in the series and a long time coming. So the other thing is that these two stories, volume 1 and volume 2, my origin series, this menage between the human woman and two wolves was so very intimidating of a story for me. Like I have been sitting on this story between these characters for, I would say, at least 5 to 6 years. Like I was just very intimidated by the concept of a menage. Now, I write paranormal romance, so all of my stories have a lot of romance, intimacy, etc. But exploring a menage, especially between these three uninhibited souls, I really had to not, just first of all, not hold back and let these characters explore this relationship, how it played out for them, and honor the characters. I didn't want to, think, oh, will this offend somebody or, whatever. So I just really let it play out. And so I really hope that you guys enjoy the menage and the back and forth, and then also how this paranormal universe continues to expand and be explored in the background. So I am going to start with chapter 1. I'm just going to read the first section of chapter 1. So, for many, we reach a tragic end, while for others, it is a new beginning. This section is entitled Dessa. She is the human female lead character. Thank you for the likes. As darkness approached, someone crashed through a black echo of bushes, screamed, and pushed a frightened soul into a vast puddle of rancid mud, crowded with wood chips, charred clothing, and slivers of burned flesh. Dessa hastily rolled onto her back, a haunting possessing her spirit and thrusting outward as if she were expelling a large chunk of food obstructing her airway. She watched while the assailant croaked and collapsed right before their hands reached her neck. After scrambling to her feet, she gripped the travel bag packed with all of her worldly possessions tightly and tried to locate anything around her familiar to the town and house she'd called home for the last 3 years. A haze of pink light obstructed her view of everything until a rustling behind the terrified young woman distracted her momentarily. It was replaced by a piercing pain against her temple, followed by a tumble far down a blind tunnel into the unknown. Dessa cradled her forehead and sat up in bed, looking at the half moon. She traced 2 fingertips across her cheeks and noticed that she was crying again. Her other hand cradled her breast and trembled with the rapid pace of her heart. It had been 18 months since the young woman had arrived in Manhattan and nearly 20 since her life had imploded, forcing her out of the existence she'd built over the preceding 6 years. Each time the dream returned, it left a bit more of her missing memories behind. However, she still had no idea how she survived the violent assault on the town and community that once welcomed her after her mother had died and the rest of her family became indifferent to her fate as a 16-year-old child. The one pristine memory from the war was of her friends finding her in a homeless shelter far away from anything she knew. The cuts, bruises, and loss of her physical possessions could be replaced, but the wonderful life she'd come to call her own was gone, seemingly forever, and that devastation would take time to heal. Those precious friends got her situated in this new city, and like clouds burning away from the summer sun, she had looked around one morning, and they were gone. She knew the tight cluster of nomads had to continue to journey forward in search of their lost pack, who were likely imprisoned or worse, following the lost battle. She wished they had allowed her to travel with them. Still, they knew, just as she did, that her abilities would only protect her so far against enemies that engaged in treachery, torture, and the annihilation of anything in their path to power. Thank you for the likes. Although there were many missing pieces of her life before this moment, her desire for freedom and exploration of the world never left her mind. That burning, instinctive drive brought her to live in this city, to discover platonic and erotic relations, just as she had in her previous reality in a small town right outside Bear Mountain. She had lived with a cluster of beings much like herself, who exhibited abilities and traits outside the norm of the human experience. Tonight would be no different. And since she would never get back to sleep with these dreams returning, she grabbed her clothes and bag and headed for the opulent home on the hill that held secrets she prayed would liberate her even more. Midday last week, Dessa had stumbled across a massive estate that took up nearly a third of a city block. She had stopped mid-stride, unable to move. The energy within her usually emerged when she was in danger or engaged in carnal activities. Yet it was here, urging her to walk to the gate and gain entry. She had tried to turn in the other direction, but that calling had brought her to a lurch. She grabbed her phone quickly and cupped it away from the howling wind. Dessa stomped her foot when the passcode wouldn't activate with her gloves on, so she removed the snug cloth just enough to get a couple of fingers out and tapped in the address. Nothing. Nothing came up. No real estate listing, phone number, owner, or history whatsoever. It was as if this structure right before her did not exist beyond the naked eye. She stepped back and let out a huff. Dessa backed away to see if she could conjure peace of mind, but her soul was not appeased and urged her to push forward and explore. After researching the surrounding properties and the tiny village consisting of the 4 city streets surrounding the alluring palace, her spirit calmed, and she made a mental note to do more digging. She headed off to her job at a local food pantry, using the city's expansive resources to find work, food, and shelter for the most vulnerable among its citizens. No one expressed the limits of her investigative capacity while on duty, so she used that massive bank of data to see if she could find out anything else regarding this regal manor. Yet she only found an empty plot on a digital map that correlated with this all-consuming structure. Dessa's inquisitive mind, carnal desires, and unrelenting psychic drive returned her to the present state and time after she'd floated away in her thoughts while hailing a cab and wandering 2 blocks. She'd survived immeasurable loss, war, and homelessness while learning to quell a sexual appetite that at times nearly crippled her mind. She stood again in front of this space as it called to her spirit and the other sacred entities living within her body and mind. The monstrous structure before her was clandestine, but it held no malice. So she slipped around back, instinctively called upon by the spirits of her ancestors, and gave charge to explore this mysterious place that called to her soul again. Just as the woman found the path leading to the grand main entrance with a mahogany and wrought iron door adorned with a blood red globe above the doorbell, a soothing voice spoke from the dark entry, and the door slipped away into the tall shadows of the foyer. So that's the end of the first part of chapter 1. And like I was telling you guys earlier, I really, really love doing these readings because I've been publishing a new work every 6 months. So it doesn't give me a chance to really kind of just relax into these stories and enjoy them because I'm, publishing work after work, which is awesome because I really want to get all of these stories out. But I love to do the story time because it lets me revisit these characters that I love so much. So I wanted to tell anybody else who's joining that I do have a giveaway. So if you go to my page, I have a giveaway post from yesterday. If you like, comment, and share and tag 2 people on that post, then you will be enrolled in the giveaway. And the giveaway is for one of my PR boxes, which has all 4 of my published works and then some Stella treats. So head over if you haven't already and sign up for the giveaway just by commenting on that post that says giveaway. And I will be back tomorrow to do another reading. And I may actually just continue on, especially since I love these characters and I want you to see where this is going to go. So I started off with Dessa's section on chapter 1, and then I'll go into Celeste's section right after. And I really, really love these characters, especially since I get to explore this also. In addition to the paranormals, there's this group of human nomads that you guys are going to get to meet. And I really, truly enjoyed writing about them. And they're not going to go away. Of course, they'll be in and out of all of these tales. So feel free to check out my website for additional information about me, StellaJonesAuthor.com. And feel free to go through my past posts. And I'll be back tomorrow night for another reading and to talk more about the giveaway. But I thank everybody who tunes in and comments and gives hearts. I really, truly appreciate it. So I'll see you all tomorrow night, and rest well and read well. All right. Peace.